The Arab and the Camel. In a faraway Arabia, men use camels to travel one place to another. Camels can move fast on the sandy desert, and the water that they store in their humps helps them on the long journeys. That is why the camel is called the ship of the desert. This story is about one such camel and his Arab master. It so happened that the Arab had to travel a neighboring village on business. The journey was long, so the man made preparations to carry his tent with him, as he would need to spend a night in the desert. When everything was loaded onto the camel's back, the two set off on their journey. From dawn to dusk they traveled, meeting no one on the way. At last, when the night fell and the stars appeared in the sky, the Arab decided to put up his tent. He drove the pegs into the ground and tied the tent firmly to them. When he was satisfied, he spread out his mattress and was soon fast asleep. The tent was small and there was no place for the camel. He had been tied to a peg just outside his master's tent and was not happy at all. "This is not fair," he grumbled. "It is I who carry the load and do all the work, and yet I have to sleep on the cold desert sands without even a tent over my head. While my master enjoys a warm bed, I shall teach him a lesson." The camel moved close to the Arab's tent and began to shiver and shake with cold. "Oh, master," he whimpered, "it is very cold outside. Please let me rest my head in your tent. I will need only one small corner. I promise not to disturb you." The Arab was a kind-hearted man. When he saw his camel shivering with cold, he said, "There is enough place in that corner for your head, my friend." At once the camel pushed his head in, and the Arab went back to sleep. After a while, the camel began to cry again. "Oh, master, please may I put my neck inside the tent as well? I just can't bear the cold." Once again, the kind Arab agreed and went back to sleep. The cunning camel waited for a while and then began his whining again. "My good master, please don't grudge me a little more space in your tent. If you could curl up your head just a little, I could bring my forelegs into the warmth. The cold outside is unbearable. Please take pity on me," he begged, and pretended to shiver again. The Arab thought to himself, "My camel speaks the truth. If I just move my feet a bit, he could bring his forelegs out of the cold." Aloud he said, "My friend, I shall make place for your legs as well." The camel now had his head, neck and forelegs inside the tent. But he was not content. He thought, "My master is such a foolish fellow. He is too kind. I shall take full advantage of his good nature." "Dear master," began the animal, "now my hump is beginning to feel the cold. I will surely die. Please move over a little so that I can bring my hump in. I'm sure we could be both warm under this tent if you could stuck up your hands out while I kept my hind legs out. You are the most generous master I have ever had." The kind man once again thought over what the camel had said. "How can he be so selfish? My camel works so hard for me. I'm sure I could make place for his hump. We have another long day of travel tomorrow. I won't die of cold if I stretch my hands outside the tent." And the good man moved over so that his camel's hump could fit inside the tent. The camel was delighted. His plan was working and he felt warm and cozy. But after a while, the wicked animal began to think, "When I do all the work, I should be the one to sleep in comfort. Why should I allow this man to sleep in the tent? The place is rightfully mine. I shall kick him out of my tent." So saying, the ungrateful camel gave his master a kick with forelegs, which sent his master flying out of the tent. "I am the one who does your work, so I shall sleep in the tent," said the camel. "You may sleep outside, under the stars," he added. The poor Arab had been too kind to his camel and had to suffer the consequences when the animal took advantage of his master's generosity. If you want to be fluent in English, listening to audio stories is a good idea. Please subscribe to this channel for more stories, simple grammar related videos, and for so many things which will help you to achieve fluency and accuracy in English language.